7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
'Cause I'm a funk master fly, yeah, like no other guy. Said funk master fly, yeah, get funky. I'm a funk master fly, yeah, like no other guy. Funk master fly.
All right, what's happening out there in Broke Johnny land? Thank you for joining us tonight on the Broke Johnny show. I think it's the last. Is it the last Sunday before the end of 2020? Hopefully. What's today? 27 plus 7. The 34th is the last day. Okay, but today's the 27th. So it is the last Sunday. So today we're here to talk about guitar Mount Rushmore. That's kind of hard to say, a guitar Mount Rushmore. And as you guys know, the Mount Rushmore is over there in, I don't know, somewhere Dakota, somewhere South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana. I don't know where, it's some park, right? And it's got the 4 dead presidents up there. From what I remember, it was, you got Washington, you got Jefferson, you got the first, is it Roosevelt? I think Teddy Roosevelt's on there. And then who's that dude on the right side? I'm looking at my brain. I'm trying to remember. The right side guy is, I guess I should just look at the page. Oh, Lincoln. Freaking Abraham Lincoln, man. Okay. All right. So I'm a guitar player. You guys know that, right? And so I have some guitar player friends and guitar teachers, things like that, or School of Rock teachers out there. And so we decided to decide on who we would have on a guitar Mount Rushmore, or as Steve Brooks calls it, the guitar. What did he call it again, dude? Guitar? No, it's Mount Rockmore. That's what it is, dude. Mount Rockmore. That's what he wants to call it. So I think it's kind of cool, right? So we're sitting there where, we're trying to save up some money and, maybe get some kind of artists out there that kind of, that know how to chip away at the stone. And first we got to reserve some land and all that. But anyway, here. So I'm going to start showing some of these slides here. Let me put it behind my head. Maybe that might be better, right? Let's go right there. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about a few guitar players. Let me go to this side a little bit. I'm not going to talk about it, but this is Angus Young from AC/DC, right? Right, he's cool. Brian May from Queen, okay, right? We have, Brad Paisley. Sorry, Brad, this is the Mount Rockmore, not Mount Countrymore. But we could have a Mount Countrymore. I don't know. Chuck Berry, the king of rock and roll. Where's my thing over here? Okay, here we have Carlos Santana from the Bay Area. Mr. Santana, right on, brother. Glad he made it. We have Jesus Christ himself. Oh, no, wait. No, that's David Gilmour. We got David Gilmour from Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd, if you guys don't know, he's from Pink Floyd. Who do we have next? Eric Clapton from Cream and from the Eric Clapton band, or whatever he called himself. I got some notes here. Cream, Eric Clapton. He was probably in some other ones too, like the Yardbirds or something like that. We'll ask David later on. Or maybe we won't, because I don't want to talk about Eric Clapton. Okay, so The Edge, he's that guitar player for U2, right? He had those delay effects, ticka, kind of cool stuff. We have Mr. Edward Van Halen, who sadly passed away this year. I think it was this year. Yeah, that was really bad. That was really a bummer for me, man, because everybody, when we were growing up, everybody wanted to freaking play like Van Halen. I mean, of course, of all these other guitar players we're going to talk about too, but anyway. Okay, so the next guy who we have here, Joe Bonamassa. He's probably been around for years. I discovered him about 5-6 years ago, and dude's like a blues rock player. He's freaking gnarly. And just oh, by the way, all these guitar players are gnarly. It's just a matter of, like which ones you want to put on Mount Rockmore, right? And they're all good in their own ways. Let me see. Jimi Hendrix, Jimbo Hendrix, right? Purple Haze, man, was in my brain. Okay. Lately things don't seem the same. Where's my finger? Okay, there we go. Okay, Mr. Jimmy Page, from Led Zeppelin. Remember Black Dog? But then all people just remember you know, freaking Robert Plant. Say, hey, mom, I'm going to wear you food. You know, but the dude's a badass guitar player, man. Excuse your language. Joe Satriani here, this bald guy. He used to have hair back in the 90s when I started lifting him. He had, you might have heard some of his stuff from Surfing with the Alien album. That was one of his kind of, it made it into the mainstream for a minute. And he's from Berkeley. And funny story about Joe is he gave my friend, this guy I used to work out with in Oakland at this junior college I used to go to, and he used to, so Satriani was a guitar teacher too, so he used to give him lessons, and he used to show him, like, so what did Satriani show you? And every time he do the same thing, it's like a dive bomb, wah, and then a harmonic, woo. He just do the same thing the whole time, and I guess that's all I do now too. But whatever. Okay, so. Mr. Keith Richards, he looks pretty sober there, huh? I'm pretty, you know, looking through all these photos, man. I had to get a good shot of him, but that's when he was really young, from the Rolling Stones. He's their lead guitar player, I guess. We could ask David about that, because there's another one, Mick Jones, or I can't remember the dude's name. Okay, Mike Mccready. This was a late ad. Like, who is this fool, man? Looks like who is that guy, Mike Mccready? And then I realized this Mike Mccready was from freaking Pearl Jam, I think. Don't punch me, David, but I think it's from Pearl Jam. And if he is, yeah, he's really good too. I remember seeing him at the Greek Theater many years ago when I was in college, and I was thinking, man, this guy's really good, man. He's got like he plays differently. He's got a weird style, you know. If I'm talking about the right guy, and who knows if I am, but if it is, I think I like Mike Mccready too. Who we got here? Neil Geraldo, man, back up, man. You guys all need to back up. You're like, who's Neil Geraldo? Well, who Neil Geraldo is he is the spouse. He is married to Pat Benatar, right? And but you know, he's you know, so he's got all those wailing solos that he's done on all the Benatar albums. He's got this, like, he's always got like this orchestrated solos, you know. But I know we're not just talking about solos, but I'm a guitar player. I like solos, right? And so he would play these orchestrated solos, and you can get a good idea of it if you listen to Jesse's Girl, because I know a lot of people out there like Jesse's Girl, right? They always, when we play in the groove thing, they're like, "Come on, play Jesse's Girl," and we play that. And I had learned that solo, and that solo was pretty tricky. You know, it's just like fast moving, and it's got these different little techniques in there that are pretty nice, man. And it's and I also met Neil one time before the Cal Expo show out here in Sacramento, and he's a real cool guy. Nile Rodgers, and you ask, who is Nile Rodgers? Okay. Oh, by the way, Nile Rodgers' mother passed away today, which sucks. So, you know, our hearts go out to Nile Rodgers' mother and to Nile Rodgers and his family. But one of the reasons I like Nile Rodgers is that he is a guitar player, but he's kind of a funky guitar player, and he's a rhythmic guitar player, you know. And he comes up with a lot of cool tunes. You know, he had like one of my favorite riffs is "Freak Out." You know, Le Freak. It's by Chic. Freak Out, right? So he did that. He did all the Sister Sledge stuff. He also helped David Bowie produce or whatever the heck on Let's Dance. That Let's Dance, that's all this dude, Nile Rodgers. It's just kind of funny that the solo was done by Stevie Ray Vaughan, but Nile Rodgers put that together. He did a lot of Madonna stuff. He did a lot of Madonna songs. He did some stuff for Duran Duran. A recent song in the 2000s, for the recent songs, he did Get Lucky. He was a guitar player in Get Lucky. This fool just can't stop, man. He's the hitman. He's got this one guitar. It's a white Stratocaster, a Strat we call it. And he calls it the Hitmaker because that's the one he uses in all these songs. So he's one of my faves. I don't know if he'll get on Mount Rockmore, but you know. Neil Shawn. Yeah, this guy was a late ad too. Neil Shawn, if you don't know who he is, he used to play in Santana. Well, some of his memorable bands were Santana, and also of the big one in the Bay Area, Journey, where I'm from, you know. And he's like a classic rock player, man, just whipping out those solos, and he's melodic, and you know, he gets down, man. So I can see why he'd make it to the list. Let me see. Peter Frampton. Okay, if you guys need to know Peter Frampton, he had that Les Paul guitar with the 3 pickups in there. And the big thing is he had that talk box. Do you feel like I do? You know, that kind of thing, that talk box thing that he stole from Joe Walsh, by the way. And that raises the question, why the heck isn't Joe Walsh up here? Okay, we'll just assume Joe Walsh is up there, okay? James Gang and Eagles and all that. Who we got there? Pete Townsend. Someone was talking about Pete Townsend. I was like, this. Yeah, he was like a big showboater guy. Remember, he did that whole arm thing. You know, he just played in the Who. So he's from the Who, right? So he is a good guitar player too. Who we got here? Oh, Mr. Roy Clark. I know this isn't the country more thingamajigger here, but Roy Clark, man, I have a video. I don't think I'll have time to show it, but this dude's incredible, man. He plays acoustic, electric, banjo, and fiddle. This dude's really good, man. He was on this show back in the 70s when I was like an infant, or I don't know, I had to be a toddler, but I used to see these reruns on this show called Hee Haw. And this dude's a whaler, dude, but he's not going to make it on Mount Rockmore because he's a country guy, but you know, he deserves some freaking recognition. Randy Rhodes, if y'all know who Randy Rhodes is, Randy Rhodes, he came out after Van Halen, or I don't know when he came out, but that's what I discovered him. He was with Ozzy Osbourne in Black Sabbath, and after Black Sabbath broke up, and they got like another singer, I forgot, that short dude, Ronnie James Dio or something like that, and maybe Steve, I don't know who these other people played for him, but Randy Rhodes was incredible, man. He was an incredible guitar player. And he joined Ozzy for this album called Blizzard of Oz, or maybe, yeah, Blizzard of Oz was the album name, and then it was by Ozzy Osbourne. But this little skinny kid, man, I saw him out there in Data Green in Oakland at the Coliseum, man, and we're like, man, this guy's, because it's just so weird. Like you think, oh, you're like, oh, I'm into Sabbath, War Pigs and all this crap, and then all of a sudden, you know, Ozzy comes out with this whole new thing, Blizzard of Oz, or whatever the thing's called, and he whips out the stuff, and it's all like fresh killer stuff, man. And this guy wailed, man, and he's, you know, he did some classical stuff on some of the albums too, but really good guitar player. Next, Robin Trower, and I know Steve Brooks can have an issue with this, right? He may or not, because when people talk about Robin Trower, who's one of my junior high favorites, or what do you call it, high school favorites, or whatever it is called, I forgot. I used to listen to him on an 8-track tape, and he has this real famous album called Bridges Eyes. And yeah, so he gets this bad rap of him talking a little bit, sounding a little bit like Jimi Hendrix. But, and I see that. And if you just kind of brush by, you'd think he was Hendrix, but he really has his own style, you know. I mean, I don't know what Hendrix would have turned into if he lived longer, but you know, Trower put out about 20 albums, man. And he also had this other incredible singer called James Dewar, bass player and sang. Great soulful voice. I mean, they just got lucky, man. But I don't want to say got lucky, but it was a really good combo. James Dewar, yeah, he passed away too. Okay, here we go, Mr. Slash here. You know the Slash guy. He's from GNR, Guns N' Roses. Got to give him some props. Okay, he showed up on the list. Mr. Stevie Ray Vaughan, you know him. He's a blues player, but he's rocking too, and we had to include him because he's just so damn awesome. Okay. Next, we have Mr. Steve Vai, who used to take lessons from Joe Satriani, the bald guy from Berkeley that had hair back in the 90s. Okay, Steve Vai, he's pretty cool too. I think he played for Whitesnake for a minute or something. You know, that's another thing I was talking about, like with Steve the other day, was like, we were talking about like Chicago, this band Chicago, and there's this singer. You know, like these guys say, oh, I was with Chicago for 10 years, you know, this singer, and the guy's a good singer and everything like that, but it's like, dude, during that whole time, there was no hits, no nothing. So it's like, yeah, let me join Chicago and sing too. And I could say I was with Chicago. Okay. You know, I mean, nothing against them, but you know what I mean? I like to recognize the original guitar players, unless they're sensational, like in the case of Randy Rhodes, right? Because you had Tony Iommi was pretty bad, right? A badass, right? So, anyway, Steve Vai. This guy's Tommy Emmanuel. Okay, I don't know if you know this guy. I don't even know what band he's in. I have him down here as Self or something. But I saw this guy on YouTube. I discovered him this year, and then Anthony brought him up to be put on the list. And this guy's incredible too, dude. These guys are incredible too. If we had time to watch all these videos, you'd see how, like, what us guitar players mean by that. Here's my boy Tony Iommi. He was the Black Sabbath original guitar player. I mean, and he had a story where I think he cut one of his fingers off. He used to work somewhere in England and somehow cut his fingers off. He'd always wear this cap over his finger when he played, and it's like everyone's like, how could he play with that thing over his finger? And he played, and well, if you know, so he's notable. He's a good guitar player. Oh God, who's this clown? Okay. I was telling Steve earlier, man, like it's very hard to find like some decent pictures of these guitar players, man, because they're always like in this, they've always got this like solo, I'm into myself look. This guy, his name is, it's not Wengi Malmsteen. This guy, Wengi Malmsteen. I think I can go like that way. Yngwie Malmsteen, but this guy, I mean, in terms of skill level, this guy's incredible, man. He's like one of the fastest guitar players. He plays like these classical runs on his Strat, scallop neck Strat, and he's really incredible. But you know, he never made anything to the top 10, so we're gonna ignore him. So anyway, that being said, I want to go ahead and bring on the panel right now, so we can discuss this further. Let me go ahead and bring on the panel here. I'll let you. Hey, there's Steve already messing around. Okay, he's just. Okay. Let me turn off this thing first. Okay, on my right, that's Steve Brooks, legendary jazz guitarist from Sacramento, California. How you doing tonight, Steve?
Good. How you doing, John?
Pretty good. And under Steve there, we got Mr. Anthony Perry, right? And he is, let me say, I think he's a guitar enthusiast, guitar collector, and also a guitar player. I can't read his title right now because the tech set it up earlier. And last but not least, we have Mr. David Anderson.
But I don't know about that.
And last but not least, we have David Anderson here. He teaches some class somewhere, and where do you teach your class at, Dave?
I teach through Sierra College in Rockland, California, a suburb of Sacramento.
Oh, okay, right on. Okay, so
yeah.
what class do you teach?
I teach the history of rock. Rock goes to the movies, the stories behind the songs.
Okay, right on, man. Okay, we'll check it out.
Yeah.
Someone was asking me, like, what schools do you teach at, man? I want to know who this guy is, you know. I'm like, dude, chill out, man. Just watch the show. You'll find all that out, okay? All right, so you know, as you see, there was like, let me go up to my spreadsheet. There's 27 guitar players that I had on this list here, and they were mostly all brought up by the panel here. I did add a couple myself, like Nile Rodgers and stuff like that, but... And so what we were thinking, Dave, we were thinking something like, why don't we just talk about our first pick, or maybe I should, because we've got an idea. I've got some tallies going here, so maybe I should just show the results, the results, and then I want you guys to argue your last choice. How about that? We do that? Okay. Okay. So we have Steve's got a thingamabobber up here, so. We basically, okay, I'll show this here. Your audio is going to shut off for 1 second, guys, but let me just go ahead. Right? So who won here was Mr. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Mr. Jimi Hendrix, and this funny-looking character here is Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin and Mr. Edward Van Halen. That's who the winners were. Let me get these guys back here. All right, so we did have some discrepancies on Jimmy Page. I think. Dave didn't put Page in his list, and Dave also didn't put Van Halen in his list, which was interesting.
No, I put Page in there.
Oh, did you?
I
okay,
put
you
Page
put.
In there.
Wait. So who was it? Wait, maybe it was Anthony didn't do Page. Did you do Page?
I didn't have Page in there.
What's wrong with you?
Because I feel like Mount Rockmore needs to be folks that are no longer with us. I know that's a little unfair, but you know, the residents are all dead, so I don't wish any ill will on living. So I chose slightly differently than your list, and I can explain why when you give me a chance.
Okay. Hold on. You know, I forgot to show this, but I mean, it's a little bit.
It does make sense, though.
Yeah. I forgot to show this one because I had this call in earlier, and let's just play this real quick, and we'll get back to the panel.
I mean, if you're considering rock guitarists, you know, you ever heard of a song called Sweet Child of Mine? Yeah, how about Welcome to the Jungle? Yeah, keep that in mind.
Okay, well, I don't know who that unknown guitar player was, man, but dude was like, he just trying to remain anonymous, but I think I knew who it was. Okay.
Man,
But,
those eyebrows though.
I know, electrical tape. Oh, okay. Look. So I'll go to this. Okay, so okay, why don't we? Because I think Anthony's kind of right in a way. Okay, well, because so the discrepancies we have is Anthony chose Chuck Berry. We have David who chose Neil Shawn, and he also Neil Schon, and he also put Keith Richards on there. And then the other discrepancy was, I don't want to say discrepancy, but I guess I just said it, but whatever. Steve and I chose Santana, homie. Okay, so go ahead, Chuck. Tell me why Chucky should be on Mount Guitarmore, or whatever you would call this thing, Mount Rockmore.
Okay, well, for me, I would say if you don't have the history of the blues, then you don't really have rock and roll. Mm-hmm. And so for me, you could go pretty far back. You could go back to Robert Johnson and all that, and really to get a little bit more contemporary, I'd say Muddy Waters. And why I chose Chuck Berry is because a couple of reasons. Number one, Chuck Berry made the music that was, country and blues and rock, and made it accessible to everyone. I mean, to the point where he was so articulate when he sang, people thought he was a white guy. And frankly, the white audiences didn't care because he was so musical and his music was far reaching. It was bordering on pop, really. But his influences were Muddy Waters and those type of guitarists. So for me, in reality, I don't think there really is any rock and roll without Chuck Berry. And if you're looking at his performances, the whole duck walk, the whole thing. I mean, Eddie Van Halen was copying that. And I think if you look at history, you'll see that Led Zepp, Jimmy Page, Keith Richards, all those guys, they were listening to Muddy Waters and Chuck Berry. I mean, I think the Beatles stole Little 16, I think, became Surfing USA. Yeah. So Chuck Berry, I think, is about as far-reaching a rock and roll guitarist as there has ever been. So for me, I'd have to put, if I wasn't going to put a Robert Johnson or something like that, because that's more blues, I would say that Chuck Berry would have to be the father of rock and roll, or the grandfather, if you will. So that's kind of like my George Washington pick.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, that was cool. That's believable, Anthony. I get that. I would almost agree with you. It's just that I'm not that old, so I'm thinking you're not that old either, but I kind of wanted to have guitar players that I drove. Okay, so how about Steve, Big Steve over there? Steve, let's talk about. I know that Santana's not on there, but talk to us why you think Santana should be on Guitar Mom as an alternate, I guess.
Well, I was going on the criteria, but by the way, the Chuck Berry argument, if that's what you call it, it's very good. That makes perfect sense, and it falls in line with my thinking of notoriety. It's the notoriety of the largest section of the population that knows these people. Mm-hmm. So all those other great guitarists you've mentioned are really wonderful, great guitarists, but most people don't know them. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was thinking, if you had to distill it down to four of the most known rock guitarists that made, they just are known. And that's why Santana, everybody knows who Santana is. And he was a big influence on a lot of people when he came out. He may not be a virtuoso, but he's good and tasty, and he had that tone and
that emotion.
A lot of guitars. Yeah, a lot of guitar. Live, listening to him, wanted to emulate him, so that's why I had Santana on there. Uh-huh. So those were, if that's what you wanted to hear from me specifically about Santana, then
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with you 100%, Holmes. Like I used to blow off Santana. Like, I didn't used to blow off Santana, but I used to I blow him off in terms of because I remember when I started playing guitar, he plays a lot of Dorian or Dorian. That's to sound cool, huh, Steve? But he plays a lot of minor, and to me, I learned the minor blues scale and minor, and whatever, and that's the way I played. And he plays a lot of minor pentatonic and regular minor scales, so it just always seemed easy and natural to me. So it took me a while to get Santana up there. I was like, I didn't really like like you're saying, he has a name recognition. Everybody knew Santana. We knew he was from the Bay Area. He played Woodstock, all this stuff, right? But it's like it just took me a while to really realize, oh, it's the emotion in his playing is why he can make the guitar talk. Not that anybody else can't either, but I'm just saying that was one of the things that I learned as I started to mature as a guitar player. I used to laugh at people making these funny faces and closing their eyes, and I find myself doing that now, like being older, and so I don't know, bro. Okay, now we gotta get the Dr. Rock up here. Dr. Rock gotta be up here. Okay, so we got Dave. So David, we got you chose Neil Shawn. You had Neil Shawn and Keith Richards on your list there. Can you explain why?
Sure, yeah. And actually, I replaced Neil Shawn with Mike Mccready from Pearl Jam.
Oh, that's just okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keith Richards, I mean, this guy influenced so many guitar players, people who grew up in the 60s, 70s, even the early 80s. Keith Richards influenced so many guitar players, and he wrote so many incredible, catchy guitar riffs.
Yeah.
Satisfaction, Painted Black, Brown Sugar.
Yeah.
And he also used the open tunings.
Yes.
And he almost died in Sacramento.
Really?
In 1965, the Rolling Stones played the Memorial Auditorium in Sacramento, and he touched an ungrounded wire, and he was shocked. But luckily, he was wearing a brand of shoes that was very popular at the time called Hush Puppies, and they had a rubber sole. Yeah, they had a rubber sole, and so not the rubber sole has nothing to do with the Beatles, but and those rubber soles on those Hush Puppies actually saved him. But very, very influential guitarist. So many hit songs by the Rolling Stones, and then Mike Mccready with Pearl Jam. Yeah. I mean, just so influential. John, you mentioned his unique style of playing. One of the leading proponents of grunge guitar.
Yeah.
Just a great guitar player. All these guys are great.
Yeah. I agree. And it's just, I don't know. It's just nice. Well, whatever. I'm older, but in the 90s, that was pretty fresh, right? So it was like, it was cool. Because we had these guitar gods that we used to always worship, and all of a sudden these new guys start coming along. You're like, well, you ain't nothing. And then you listen to him, you're like, hey, this guy's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we have a last minute opinion here. Hold on. Oh, God, I hate this. Hey, what's up, cousin? Yeah? What do you want? What do you want to say? Me? Yeah? You want to pick me? Broke Johnny? Well, okay. Well, I guess one of the panelists agrees with this. I mean, Broke Johnny should be up there. I mean, I should get my picture. No, my picture's already here live in front of you. So there's my thing. Broke Johnny. He was in the groove thing.
Can I put a vote in for Scooby-Doo?
You what?
Can I put a vote in for Scooby-Doo?
No, shut up. Well, you're trying to cut me. Okay, whatever. Okay. I'm gonna do a solo right now. Just kidding. Okay, but yeah. So right on. Okay. After all that talk, we're still at this guy right here, right? So I think that's gonna be our final Mount Rushmore with Santana kind of gonna be the fifth head up there, maybe, or something.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to argue for Santana, I would say, when you hear a Santana song, that's Santana.
Uh-huh.
I mean, obviously you're listening to it, but it's like as soon as you hear it, I don't care where you're at, you're like, that's Santana. And that's what makes him unique. And like I said earlier, I think my Mount Rockmore needs to be artists that have passed on. But if I were to, make a fifth, sixth, seventh pick, I mean, obviously all of these folks, especially the living, are great choices. But I'd have to say, for me, I'd probably put Santana real close to the top of that list. And very recent, I'd say Joe Bonamassa. I don't know if you guys have gotten into his music, but this guy is just absolutely incredible. And if you want to see what culmination of all of this artistry, all of these people, what that comes to, you need to listen to this guy, because he's, if you listen carefully with a very trained ear, every one of those people that we've mentioned here, you'll hear in his music. He's taken all of those things and just absorbed all of it.
Yeah. And I'd have to disagree with Anthony about the people on the Mount Rushmore of guitars, because being passed away, the Basketball Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has many artists who are still alive. The Mount Rushmore itself, it was created in 1941, So with all these Hall of Fames, they have many artists who are still alive. So I don't think the artists necessarily have to be dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so what do you got
to in stone? That's how I just figured. If they're in stone, I figure they're probably gone. But yeah, you're right. All the Hall of Fames are for the living, and they should be. Really, we should honor these folks before they go away and leave us, to make beautiful music somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. It's just,
but it's sort of a metaphor. It's a metaphor of the Mount Rushmore thing, and I'm at the thing that I was trying to make the criteria is the recognition of the rock guitarist, that you can ask somebody who's not a musician, and they'll know the name.
Yeah.
They'll know, like somebody who doesn't, know the obscure, amazing guitarists. Mm-hmm. But if you say Santana, they'll know Santana. If you say Jimi Hendrix, they'll know Jimi. When you can say their name and they don't play guitar or a musician, then they're far-reaching.
Okay. So I gotta. Okay, I'm looking at these results here. Okay, so this was Baba. Okay, Neil Shawn. Okay, Dave. Why the heck didn't you put Eddie Van Halen on the list?
I can appreciate Eddie Van Halen's technical skill and popularity, but I just did not like the band Van Halen. They reminded me of a bunch of drunk 19-year-old teenagers singing songs about hot for teacher. Eventually, please grow up, okay? Eventually, come on.
So it was the maturity level of the band. They weren't like that serious.
It's just,
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, okay. Wait, Steve, you're an older guy. Before frickin' Anthony attacks David, it's like because he's got. I can see Anthony's Wolfgang Strat back there. Hey, okay. So, what do you got to say about Van Halen? Okay, wait. Hold a second. Okay, look. Before we even go this far, okay, look. I got one thing up here, and I think you guys will be able to hear it. Let me see, audio. It's just some dude took it from his little iPhone. Here, I'll play this little video. Okay, that's enough, guys. It's like the audio was crappy, and it's getting me motion sickness looking at that thing. Okay, and then so that wasn't his. Well, whatever. It was going to get way like faster and all that junk, and all melodic and all that thing. But
just look at his solo from Live Without a Net. If you're in your late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, and you didn't hear or watch that video like every day after school, the Live Without a Net video, watch the solo from that. You can find it on YouTube. I sent it to my 12-year-old nephew, and his mind was absolutely blown.
Yeah.
There's so much goodness in that solo, and it's not just kind of knucklehead type, just bunch of notes flying.
Yeah.
It's a lot of musicality there. So if you guys haven't seen it out there in TV land, catch Van Halen Live Without a Net and look at that solo. It's incredible, and it's the reason why that guitar back there had to get purchased this year after Eddie's passing, the 5150 model.
Yeah, right on.
Well, I could see what Dave's talking about in terms of kind of pith, the substance, but but the skill on the guitar, and it's rock and roll, and it's a type of rock and roll that appeals to a lot of people. Just kind of mindless party rock and roll.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the Stones are like that. It's just like, Stones have better lyrics and potentially, content a little bit more, but the, Van Halen and the rock and roll show, the wildness, the showmanship, and the guitar prowess is very impressive. And it's something that guitar players, when they hear, I want to do that,
Yeah.
So that's why I appreciate Van Halen, and I know where Dave's coming from.
Yeah.
But that's my take on it.
Any rebuttal, David?
No, I can. As I said, I can appreciate the technical virtuosity of Eddie Van Halen. He's very skilled, but it's just the song subject, the subject matter, and for a second I thought that was Haskell of Leave It to Beaver, but I got confused there, and so at my age you get confused easily.
So that's where Eddie Haskell went. He went in the rock and roll, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
If you guys see any interviews from Eddie Van Halen, words coming right out of his mouth. He's like, I'm just a punk kid that's playing guitar, And I think that's part of the beauty of it is, like, I think he accepted full heart who he was. And that's what he went out there and did. He was just a punk kid playing guitar. And so if that comes across as being a little pithy or kind of like immature, that's exactly what he was. So, you know, kudos to him. And I think that kind of appealed to the 80s kid, especially, you know, when I was growing up. And I know John does too. It's undeniable that had an appeal for us. But I can also appreciate a Jimmy Page with all his, you know, musicality. I mean, as far as writing guitar and hooky riffs and stuff, I mean, I think anyone could argue that Page is the king. He's if there was a machine, he'd be the riff-o-matic. You know, that's Jimmy Page, you know?
Yeah, because we were talking about this, Steve, is about Jimmy Page. Like, when I was trying to look for some of his videos on YouTube and trying to save them for tonight, but then before I realized it's going to take too long, and that's taking long that I'm even talking about that. But if you actually watch Page, especially like live, dude is sloppier than hell. He just sloppy guitar player. Because I do that solo live, the Heartbreaker solo. It's like, oh, you're so bad. It's like, no, because it's just sloppy blues really quick, right? It's like, but you know, people don't know that. But I mean, but it was his songwriting skills and the collaboration with Robert Plant and John Paul Jones, all right?
Just such innovative, unique, you know, concepts, you know, things, they're just so obtuse and just interesting, you know.
Yeah.
He may not be, you know, a total lick monster, but just the whole, just the different sounds that they came up with were so unique.
Yeah.
That's the genius.
Yeah. And Jimmy Page, you know, he talked about his music being light and shade, where he had the acoustic, like the beginning of Over the Hills and Far Away, the light. And then he had the shade where they went into those riffs, you know? And Jimmy Page was so great. He could play the 40 billion volts of electricity, and then he could play acoustic guitar in the English Celtic folk tradition. Thirdly, he used all of alternate tunings. Dadgad and stuff like that.
Misty, not Misty. I remember that one. This whatever. I can't remember. Steve and I have the show every week that we just can't remember who did what.
Can't remember it. Yeah.
But you don't find that. Remember? Oh, there's
Misty. What is it? Misty Mountain. What is that one?
No, that one sucks. I talk about the Rain Song has a weird tune on it, right? A Rain Song, but. What's the one that goes that's I think it's a Dad thing. It's on Led Zeppelin 1, but everything's just a flash to me, you know. But you know, I was reading some comments here on Facebook.
Dancing Days.
Well, that's a riff, the riff based thing, okay, but we do have some comments. Let's see, Sarah Card. Okay, so Sarah's saying she really likes, she loves Nile Rodgers. Okay, see? Do you guys even know who Nile Rodgers is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I love Nile. Hey,
John,
I'll tell you guys something about Nile Rodgers that.
Don't be talking about my boy.
One of my favorite movies is Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall.
Yeah.
And he wrote all the music for that movie, and that's just like one of the many things, you know.
What movie was that?
Movie, Coming to America.
Oh, with Eddie Murphy. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's just a classic comedy. That's like for my family, like the funniest movie ever.
Yeah.
And he wrote all the music for that, and just that's incredible for, you know, not just a session guitarist, and, you know, talk about hooky riffs. Nile Rodgers is definitely up there. If I could learn how to play that, you know, that's not a rock thing for me, but that's a funky thing. That's a broke Johnny thing.
Yeah.
If I had to branch out and I want some funkiness, I would be hitting all the Nile Rodgers riffs.
Yeah.
And John, he also wrote the riffs for Diana Ross, I'm Coming Out, and Upside Down.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Bro, I'm all on that because I watch his videos and I go like, Carol's like, why are you playing that? I'm like, well, because we're not going to play I'm Coming. You know, it's like, but the riff is just hecka cool, dude. It's just percussive lead is the way he plays. You know, I have another comment here on the thing, and it's we didn't bring up two guitar players. One of them I know, but who's the dude from Boston, man? Remember the rock
Tom
man?
Schultz.
Tom Schultz.
Tom
Right?
Schultz.
Yeah.
We got Tom Schultz, and then the other guy who is still playing with Tom Schultz now. He joined a little bit later in the band. Is Gary Peel. So Gary Peel was the guitar player for Sammy Hagar, and now he's in Boston and I know because Geraldo's a dude, and he got us some passes, and we met him backstage, and really nice guy, really tall guy. But again, you know, with this list I got 27 people here, 20, it can go to 100 because there's a bunch of incredible guitar players out there that we could have added.
Yeah, and there's a guy who's not very well known with the public, but he's just an incredible guitar player, pop rock guitar player. He played with Toto. His name is Steve Lukather.
Oh, well, we know Steve Lukather, fool. Come on, bro. We know Steve. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, and I think he did some. He was I was just watching a video, but he was a session guitar player. Did some stuff for Quincy Jones, right? Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a great guitar player.
Yeah. But, you know, okay, what about my opinion? My opinion is this, that, like, I love speed. I mean, wait. No, I appreciate speed. I respect speed and accuracy. I really like emotion. I like songwriting. And I like percussive playing. So I mean, that's one reason why I got Stevie Ray. He's a percussive player, right? And we can't get, you know, my boy up there, Niall, because he's R&B, right? But I love that kind of playing, and Neil Geraldo's like that too. If you listen to his solos, man, he's not like that, but I mean, whatever. Another kind of percussive guitar player, heavy attack, you know. And you know, one thing, and I'm looking at this thing is that you remember there's that movie that came out. It's probably about 10 years old at least now. When it had like the three guitar players, they had Jack Black and Jimmy Page, and then The Edge. You guys remember that movie?
It Might Get Loud.
Oh,
Yeah, it Might Get Loud.
Make it loud, yeah.
Yeah. And I've watched that, and I just thought, like, what are you doing, stupid? You don't put Jack Black in freaking The Edge with Jimmy Page. What are you thinking?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
No, it was Jack White
Jack
from
Black?
the White
Jack White.
Stripes.
Yeah, Jack White. That's what I meant. Sorry. I don't want to talk about Jack Black. Jack Black's cool.
I said, what is
Wasn't it a mismatch, Steve?
You know what? I've not seen that one yet.
Okay, next opinion, David. Wasn't it a mismatch?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah, definitely. Hey, Anthony. By the way, they have made a sequel to Coming of America, and it's with Eddie Murphy. It's an updated version of Coming to America. It's coming to theaters near you soon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
really?
can't wait. I think it's on Amazon Prime or something like that.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we should be able to stream that whenever that gets released.
Yeah.
So
I love that song, that theme song. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. This delay is crazy. No, so what is it? He came to America and left, and now he's coming back? Is that what the sequel is?
I don't know. I just heard there's a sequel coming out, so I don't know I can't tell you the plot summary.
You got a lot to look forward to, Anthony, right? It's like, no, I know there's a sequel.
Yeah.
He explained all about the sequel. He can't remember. You just can't remember details.
And now I'm getting confused because I remember a song by James Brown called "Coming to Living in America."
Yeah, living
in
Yeah.
America.
That was in the Rocky IV movie.
Yeah. That's one of the classes I teach. Is Rock Goes to the Movies. That's it's a great class. You know?
Oh, okay.
I go from the 50s all the way up to like 2013.
Yes.
Dave, how many people sign up for your class?
1.5.
Right now? What do you have? Okay,
Isn't that more like?
Well, when is it?
He gets 80. He gets 80 people signing up for that class.
Okay.
Yeah,
hold on. Go ahead, Dave.
75, 80 via Zoom. When we were doing the class in person, it was only 25, 30, but via Zoom, 75 or 80.
Okay. So is it just one class you're talking about again? one class, and it's at Sierra College, right? Or I mean, like one title? I mean, for the class, or
Yeah, there's different classes. It's the history of rock, and I go decade by decade, 60s, 70s, 80s. And then another class is the stories behind the songs.
okay,
And I go 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
okay,
And the third class is Rock Goes to the Movies.
okay,
And that's from the 50s all the way up to today. And it's through a program, an adult education program at Sierra College. The acronym is called OLLIE, OLLIE. But if you contact Sierra College in Rockland and you ask to speak to someone about the OLLIE program, they can help you.
okay. So, I'm trying to put this on the thing right now. Sierra College, and how'd you spell Ollie?
OLLI.
Okay,
It's an acronym for something else, something that's very long.
Oh, did I say it right? Okay, I just put it on the thing. I spelled college wrong. Sorry. Okay, before we end here, let's just thank our sponsors. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, for today's sponsors is Carol Garcia, because she let me do the show because we're working on some new music. But you can check out her new single, Trust Your Heart by Carol Garcia, and it's on Apple, Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, and soon to be on SoundCloud. Our next sponsor for tonight will be Steve's Pizza. Pizza Perfected by Steve's Pizza. They just opened up a branch tonight on J Street, which is over here in East Sac. And I haven't tried the pizza yet, but I've tried the hamburgers, and the hamburgers are really good. So we'd like to thank our sponsors for tonight. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Real quick. I had to get that out of the way.
Steve's Pizza is great. I had a partnership for our soccer club with them. They're absolutely wonderful people, and their pizza's fantastic.
Oh, the Elk Grove one or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, right on. Right. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to trying the pizza because he gave me some coupons for some pizza. I was told him I was doing a show. I'm like, right on, bro. Okay. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming out today and joining us and being part of the panel. Really appreciate it. We will be seeing David Anderson, of course, Steve again. We're going to be talking about his rock classes a little more in depth and his rock knowledge. But I thank our panel, David Anderson, Mr. Anthony Perry, and Mr. Stephen Brooks. Thanks for joining the Broke Johnny show tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Shawn.
Thanks, John.
Fly, yeah, like no other guy. Said funk master fly, yeah, get funky. I'm a funk master fly.